President Volodymyr Zelensky brought his call for support against Russia's invasion to a Group of 7 summit today to Japan, where leaders of the world's richest democracies agreed to tighten sanctions against Moscow and pare back exposure to China. The Ukrainian president's attendance at the G7 summit in Hiroshima, the first city to suffer a nuclear attack, put in sharp relief on Western concerns over the nuclear threat posed by Russia. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Dahal says multiple rounds of top brass meetings have nothing to do with saving big names in the Bhutanese refugee case, adds India visit will be fruitful. The regional vice chairperson of MCC, Jonathan Brooks, calls upon Home Minister Naren Kaji Shrestha, urges for assistance in the work of land acquisition, security and coordination for the MCC project. The G7 leaders agreed to support Ukraine for as long as it takes in the face of Russia's illegal war of aggression. Ukraine's President Zelensky reaches Japan for the G7 summit. And Rajpura Pachai of Nepal Police defends the women's category of the 11th Kantipur Half Marathon. 3-1 Army's Mukesh Bahadur Paul clinches the men's category. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has said that none of the political parties were held with the intention of protecting those involved in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam. During conversation with the editors of Kantipur Media Group after inaugurating Kantipur Half Marathon this morning, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal clarified that parliamentary issues were discussed during recent parleys with Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba and CPN-UML Chairperson KP Sharma Oli, and that no discussions have been held with a view to protect those involved in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam. The Premier said that the government is serious regarding the case since it has become an issue of international concern as well. According to Premier Dahal, the USA's concern regarding the case is not unnatural. Prime Minister Dahal alleged of people spreading rumors that neighbouring India has not prioritized his visit, and the Premier went on to claim that his visit will be fruitful. He said that the visit is being made for the first time since he assumed the country's top executive post to address the needs of the general public. Premier Dahal also said that activities to create apathy towards democracy is on the rise and that it was a matter of concern. The general public held demonstrations in Kathmandu earlier today demanding to curb corruption and take action against all those involved in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam. People that had gathered in capital's Tinkune held demonstrations by chanting slogans against corruption. They have demanded change in the election process to prevent corruption. Demonstrations are being held in different parts of the country, including the capital, on a daily basis, demanding actions against those involved in the scam. The Sudur Pashchim province government has been expanded for the second time. Chief Minister Kamal Bahadur Shah expanded the cabinet for the second time today by including CPN Maoist Centre in the government. Shah, who was appointed the Chief Minister of Sudur Pashchim province on 9th of February earlier this year, had formed a 2-member cabinet the next day. 100 days have passed since Chief Minister Shah formed the province government. However, he has failed to give a full shape to the cabinet even after expanding it for the second time. From CPN Maoist Centre, Ramesh Thami has bagged the Ministries of Industry, Tourism, Forest and Environment. Jharap Saud has been given the responsibility of the Ministry for Social Development, and Geeta Devi Mal has been named the State Minister. Likewise, Prithvi Bahadur Singh from Nepali Congress has been appointed the Minister for Internal Affairs and Law. The newly appointed ministers and State Minister have taken the oath of office and secrecy from Province Governor Devraj Joshi. Meanwhile, Nagarik Unmukti Party has remained in its stance of not joining the government until it is provided 2 ministries. As Nagarik Unmukti Party has not sent recommendation for its minister, the responsibilities of the land management, agriculture and cooperative ministries will be with Chief Minister Shah for a few more days. The regional vice chairperson of the American Assistance Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, Jonathan Brooks, called upon Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs, Naran Kaji Shrestha, earlier today. MCC Vice Chairperson Brooks had reached the Ministry of Home Affairs in capital Singh Darbar and discussed the implementation of the project. During the meeting, Brooks urged the authority to assist in acquiring land required for the project and to coordinate for its implementation. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Shrestha expressed commitment on behalf of all departments under the ministry in providing assistance for timely completion of the project. The American Ambassador to Nepal, Dean R. Thompson, and Home Secretary Dinesh Patrai also attended the meeting. The MCC project was passed by the Parliament on 27th of February 2022. The project is currently in the process of being implemented. The Millennium Challenge Corporation and the government had signed a $500 million agreement on the American Grant Assistance Project on 14th of September 2017. According to the agreement, the project will be concluded within 5 years. The court has ordered to probe into the forged citizenship certificate of Vice Chairperson of Dakneshwari Municipality of Saptari, Meera Kumari Yadav. The Rajbiraj Bench of Justice of Janakpur High Court filed a writ in the name of the District Administration Office and District Police Administration, directing them to probe into the forged citizenship certificate of Vice Chairperson Yadav and her husband Mahendra Kumar Yadav. The writ was filed at the High Court after actions were not taken, even though a local had filed a complaint regarding their forged citizenship certificate at the District Police Administration and the District Administration Office, along with evidence. The government has geared up to provide school-level academic certificate equivalent to formal education to those above 15 years of age by examining their knowledge and skills. The National Curriculum Development and Evaluation Center has approved the school-level curriculum that will connect formal education through informal and alternative open education. Schools have been divided into 4 levels and the curriculum has been allocated accordingly. School level up to grade 3 has been allocated level 1, level 2 for up to grade 5, level 3 for up to grade 8 and level 4 for up to grade 12. Now the students who can pass the examination of knowledge and skills of informal education will be provided academic certificate equivalent to formal education. The Curriculum Development Center has said that the curriculum will be implemented at the earliest. A flight from Janakpur to Kathmandu was halted earlier today after a mouse was found inside the aircraft. Passengers had witnessed a mouse inside the aircraft of Buddha Air, which was set to take off from Janakpur for Kathmandu at 8:35 a.m. earlier today, with 49 passengers on board. The flight was delayed, citing safety measures. The airline corporation has said that the flight will resume after engineers from Kathmandu will reach Janakpur on another flight and carry out required inspection. Meanwhile, passengers of the flight have been taken to Kathmandu on another aircraft of Buddha Air. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: how do you assess the government's policies and programs? Your options are A, continuity of previous programs, B, successful in raising hopes, and C, depends on implementation. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. The G7 leaders have agreed to support Ukraine for as long as it takes in the face of Russia's illegal war of aggression, according to a joint statement issued today. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has reached Japan for the G7 summit, where he's meeting world leaders. Shortly after his plane landed, Zelensky tweeted that peace will be closer as a result of meetings at the summit of rich allied nations. It comes after the US announced it would allow allies to give fighter jets to Ukraine, including F-16s. In response, Russia warned that Western countries would be running colossal risks if they supplied Ukraine with F-16 jets. G7 leaders have released the summit's final communique, which touches on how the group wants to support Ukraine against the Russia invasion. The G7 has passed China to pressure its strategic partner Russia to end its war on Ukraine. US President Joe Biden informed G7 leaders that Washington will support a joint effort to train Ukrainian pilots on F-16 fighter jets. China's embassy in Japan says it is gravely concerned about recent signs of negative China-related moves at the G7 summit. Oxfam has released a statement accusing the G7 leaders of failing the developing world by not taking action to address debt cancellation or global hunger. Congress veteran Siddaramaiah today was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Karnataka for the second term, along with Karnataka Congress President D.K. Shivakumar as his deputy. Governor Thwarchand Gehlot administered the oath of office at Bengaluru's Kantirava Stadium. Congress had invited several leaders of like-minded parties to the swearing-in ceremony. After days of deliberation, Congress General Secretary K.C. Vengupal on Thursday made the announcement at the party headquarters in the national capital that party leader Siddaramaiah will be the next Karnataka Chief Minister and D.K. Shivakumar will be Deputy Chief Minister. Ahead of the oath-taking ceremony in Karnataka, Congress leader Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar met Congress leaders Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra yesterday evening. Siddaramaiah won from the Varuna constituency in the state assembly election, while D.K. Shivakumar from the Kanakapura constituency. A leader with strong grassroots connections, Siddaramaiah has been associated with the formulation of state budgets for several years and has an eye for detail. Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen vowed today to maintain the status quo of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait amid high tensions with China, which has stepped up military pressure on the democratically governed island. In a speech in the presidential office in Taipei marking the 7th anniversary of her governance, Tsai said Taiwan will not provoke and will not bow to Chinese pressure. China, which considers Taiwan as its own and threatens to bring the island under its control if necessary, has stepped up military and diplomatic pressure to force the island to accept Chinese sovereignty since Tsai took office in 2016. Beijing has rebuffed calls for talks from Tsai regarding her to be a separatist. Tsai has repeatedly vowed to defend Taiwan's freedom and democracy. Mount Everest is losing snow and turning dry and rocky. British climber Kenton Cool, who made his 17th ascent of the world's highest peak this week, the most by a foreigner, said today. 49-year-old Cool, who climbed the 8,849-meter peak for the first time in 2004, said, "The giant mountain appears to be drying now." Climate scientists say the Earth's temperature has increased by an average of 0.74 degrees Celsius over the past 100 years, but warming across the Himalayas has been greater than the global averages. Spain's military emergencies unit continued to battle an out-of-control forest fire in the western Extremadura region overnight into today. Members of the military agency's unit worked to create firewalls and refresh the area in the early hours in an effort to contain a wildfire that has spread over 8,000 hectares near the border with Portugal. Homes in 3 villages, Cadalso, Descargamaria and Roboldillo Digata were evacuated yesterday, but local authorities are hopeful the slightly better weather conditions could help emergency units to control the wildfire soon. Copernicus Sentinel-2 satellite images showed huge plumes of smoke covering the wood area of Pinofranquedo, according to the European Forest Fire Information System. A total of 493 fires destroyed a record 307,000 hectares in Spain last year. Time now for sports update.
Sports news.
Rajpura Pachai has won the women's category of the 11th Kantipur Half Marathon held this morning. Likewise, Mukesh Bahadur Pal has won the men's category of the event. The men's champion Mukesh Pal clocked 1 hour 6 minutes and 45 seconds to clinch the Kantipur Half Marathon run. Mukesh had finished third in the last edition of the run. Tribhuvan Army's Rajan Rokaya finished second with a timing of 1 hour 7 minutes and 55 seconds. The third place went to Tirtha Bahadur Pun, who could produce a timing of 1 hour 9 minutes and 18 seconds. The women's category was defended by Rajpura Pachai, who clocked 1 hour 19 minutes and 16 seconds to come first. The second place went to Ram Maya Budha, who with a timing of 1 hour 23 minutes and 0.7 seconds. APF's Pushpa Bhandari stood third with a timing of 1 hour 24 minutes and 31 seconds. Both the category winners were awarded with 100,000 rupees each. The second placed winners received 50,000, while third placed runners bagged 30,000 rupees each. The wheelchair women's category was won by Aishwarya Kumari as she timed 10 minutes 9.7 to 8 seconds to cover the 3-kilometer run. The men's category was won by Ramesh Khatri, who produced a timing of 7 minutes 26.74 seconds. Bikesh Ghimire finished first in the men's segment of the corporate run, while Sunita Maharjan clinched the top podium place in the segment. In the college run, Prakash Jang Basnit finished first in the men's category, while Susan Karki won the women's segment. The Kantipur Half Marathon was held this morning with the slogan, "Let's go green together." Around 4,700 professionals and non-professional athletes took part in the event across the 4 categories. The category college run was included for the first time in the Kantipur Half Marathon. Cash prizes were distributed in other categories as well. Brittany Greiner returned to the WNBA hardwood last night in Los Angeles to cheers from a raucous crowd that included U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. The mood was celebratory as Greiner, who was released from a Russian penal colony in a high-profile prisoner exchange with the U.S. late last year, was embraced by Harris on the court before the game. Greiner looked emotional when she was introduced and, despite her Phoenix Mercury being the visiting team, saw the crowd erupt when she hit a 17-foot jumper on her first attempt of the contest. Outside the arena, Nike billboards displayed a photo of Greiner. Greiner was taken into custody at Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport and subsequently convicted of narcotics possession and trafficking after she was found to have been carrying vape cartridges containing hashish oil in her luggage. She was subsequently sentenced to 9 years in prison. She said she was prescribed a medical cannabis in the United States for a chronic injury and never intended to break the law. U.S. officials said she was wrongly detained and was being used as a political pawn amid increasingly strained relations with Moscow. The two-time Olympic champion, 32, kicked off her 10th season with the Mercury on Friday after playing in a pre-season game 1 week ago. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.